Hello, thank you, friend. Thank you for coming and joining us here back into the space again. Once more, it's a beautiful new day. It's a lovely new day. It's a new day for a new point of attraction. We're seeing more things come in, even if it's the small things. Sometimes they're the larger things. They're coming more and more into our spheres each day as the world continues on with its play. And so we came to this realm, again, we'll say it again and again and again, that we came to manifest and to revel in the process of how we actually do that, how thoughts become things, how we can remain in a centered, calm state of being most times when there's so much chaos happening in the world. And the chaos, again, through the understanding of what is actually taking place here with what we talk about consciousness, is that when you're bringing consciousness in, it's going to take a structure and it's going to break it apart and to form a new platform in which we can have endless possibilities and expressions of ourselves and really come out and do these things as creator beings that we are. And so that's the world that we created. We stepped onto this, and we knew when we came into this lifetime that we were going to live a life that would be considered, miracles happening, just extraordinary. We're witnessing what we'd consider superpowers within the self, how we can just take, an image, and then if we focus enough on it on a moment to moment basis or throughout the days, and if we stay long enough with that and we get distracted on with something else, then it's bound to happen because we're trusting what we know to be the law of attraction. The law of attraction takes what you desire and then it goes and it brings it to you. This world is a realm of a mirror. It's beautiful. It's absolutely brilliant. So each one of us, there's billions of people on the planet, and everyone is a creator being, and everyone is creating right now. So that's why there's so much variety. We say contrast. That actually, it's like the shadows in when you're painting. The artist knows that you have to use a technique of shadowing, or everything looks the same. You can't tell the difference between the clouds and the trees and the landscape. Everything comes out when you put some shading in there. And that's this realm. And it mirrors back to you what you're doing within yourself. So it's not necessarily what is happening today, right? It's what's coming. And that's always in effect. This realm is considered a process. That's why it's a journey. And you're not going anywhere. You're not solving anything. You're not coming to any kind of final conclusion of yourself or final version of yourself. No, because we're always inventing different versions of ourselves every day. We go to sleep at night, we get a rest, and then the mind and the brain could subside and the body can get rejuvenated. And you wake up in a totally new, clear type of day. What we tended to do before is that because we lived in such a mind-made matrix control, is that the mind was just out of control, literally. Too many monkeys in the windows of the house, wink, wink. And so when left unchecked, we're not in our bodies. We're not in a feeling mode. And so we can't, we get overwhelmed. We don't know what to do. And by meditating and breathing every day and being with the self, it clears space. And then you know your next move. So when we say it's not necessarily what is, it's what's coming next, is because in this realm, say you want to have more money in your life, or you want a better job, or you want to have a partner, or you have a partner and you want to explore and into endless possibilities with each other. Say that you want to have better health. Say that you'd like to start a practice. Say that you want to become a more compassionate person towards the elderly. We're just picking random. Maybe you want to save the sea turtles or something like that, or you have a passion for them, and there you go. And you always wanted to do that. You have an image, and then you see yourself doing it. Because we are working with an imagination. When we came into the world as children, they told us and sat us down, and they said, "Hey, here you go. Here's some markers and colors, some paints. Here's the surface, the painting, the canvas. Now paint, do, draw, create, And they taught us to do that. And they taught us to imagine, to strengthen our imagination. It's kind of like, well, why would they do that if we weren't going to use it? It's kind of like we always, you get to a point in high school, and then you learn this thing called calculus. And then we'd always argue for our limitations with that. Anything we'd always do this, going, I don't know why I have to learn this calculus. I'm not going to be using it anyway. Well, again, that's partially true to some extent. But no, you bring that out. You never know when you're going to bring that out. But yeah, we don't know when it's going to actually apply. I mean, you use this calculus, yeah. But you never know when you're going to actually have that and bring it out. So at any given moment, things are there to lead us to the next step, what's coming next. It's always what's coming next. We're always arriving and departing at the same time at any given moment. And so when we stop to breathe and to focus back into the body, then we have presence and we're in the present moment. The mind is linear, so it's always going, reaching for what we perceive, what we know to be what's coming next. It doesn't know. So that's why it's always trying to get there. See, once we know how this whole operation works within ourselves, then we can move accordingly. Then we can really get into this manifestation thing, settle down, relax into a softness that we don't have to assert or push anything or make anyone or any event to change in that manner. We can stop within ourselves, and this is, it's not like you need instruction with this. No, that's not at all. We did, write the book, Walking the Path of Least Resistance, and it has those tools, very simple, short read. It's a good one. It carries a vibration. You won't be the same person after you finished reading that book, or you just hold it in your hands. You get a download, perhaps, that's fine. But the point is, it carries the tools, just the reminders which you already know within yourself. They're just reminders. We've been doing this for lifetimes. We've now finally hit a point, especially in this day now, with the beginning of a whole new year, and we're in the so-called age of Aquarius, and we just moved to Aquarius now, the sign, and yes, it's astrology, but here there's many different varieties of the way we can express creation, and that's valid too. Okay, I am that. I am. And so we can reach and pull for all these different components throughout creation and not be limited. And we're not astrologists, no, because we are that. So we're moving into this new cycle, and this year has been that. Yeah, we're walking in two worlds. We're walking in a world of time and space. It's 2022, zooming off to 2034, as we discussed earlier. And then we're also in non-linear time, where everything happens now. You're born now, live now, die now. Everything is happening in this present moment, and the mind can't fathom that, nor should it have to. So we go into the body, and then we realize that in this present moment, we're in a process. And then the next moment, process. It's always the process. It's enjoying that you can do this alchemy within yourself and bring anything to you that you desire. It's not a laziness. It's not denying anything of the world. No, this is actually embracing it, but it's a softness. It's a more what would be considered the feminine, right? Go with me, guys and ladies. The feminine, which is the internal energy and movement to get the job done. The masculine is the outward energy to get the job done. Kind of like when we go and we present these videos to you. This is a masculine energy. But what takes place inside is the feminine movement to present this on the out. And so it's a nice dance, as you can see, with the symbol behind us here, many of the symbols of the same symbol of the yin yang. It's always moving and turning. You just can't see it because it's stationary, 2D print on a cloth. But it's constantly moving and always coming in and out and in and out. And it's like a sharing and a balancing. That's what this realm is all about. As we get more familiar and relax and stretch out into a way of this feminine expression, and it's okay to do this way, and it becomes more acceptable to the masses, and this will take off very quickly. It only takes a small amount of individuals who are working like this to make the change happening. And we are moving to such a beautiful world. Oh my gosh, just today you can see things now, and there's no common headlines of a common newspaper. No, because you have so much variety of information, but the information you can sense, and that's the intuitive, the feminine side of knowing the vibratory, if that feels good to you, if it doesn't. See, we can decipher, we can use what we'd say discernment. And when you're able to really know discernment, you're golden. It's to be strong and solid within the self, confident, but to express in a soft, gentle way, and not going, I want that now. Why don't I have that now? It's not working. None of this is working. I've been doing this alchemy thing for a while, maybe a couple months, and it's just not working. I guess some things are starting to, unravel, but not that one thing I really need. Maybe you need to have a job and you can't get it. I mean, it's not that far off. Again, all is well in all of creation. It's like nothing's there to harm you. It's like there's no universe out there going and trying to get you if you don't do something right. That was the whole misconstruedness of the karma. Karma is a Sanskrit word for action. And so it's not a build-up, this instant karma thing, whatever you do, and boom, it's something. Well, sometimes. But you need a little bit more explanation when you talk about that. It's not always what's happening right now. You can't really determine the state of the world by what is happening in this day. If you look at the world and you're like, oh no, and the whole world stage camera turns over to a war, then all of a sudden you're going to like, oh, we're in World War III. So the mind gets a hold of it, and all of a sudden you start thinking about a whole bunch of things, and it doesn't make you feel good, and you're in electric magnetic frequency all of a sudden of, oh no, war. And then all your minds and that resistant thought just takes more resistant thought, and all of a sudden you're imaging the bombs landing down. So again, we don't need to do that anymore. This new world in which creating what's coming up is rising down real fast. So for instance, the pandemic, we thought it was there's going to be no end to this. I heard it from left and right from different people. Oh, Muriel, there'll be no end to this. And we're all in the background going, okay, you'll see, guys, you'll see. You give it less than a year. Give it less than this. Give it less than that time where you thought it was going to be 10, 20 years. This is the quantum space. And so it's brilliant what happens when, hi, Bernie. And so it's wonderful what happens when you stop and see that whatever you're doing within yourself at any given time, you're creating that which is happening tomorrow. And there's a whole bunch of us working together creating the new tomorrow. So it's not necessarily what's happening in this day. They announce a new thing. They bring your whole attention over there to what's happening over there. Or they bring your attention all of a sudden to over here, because they who have all their own personal agenda of what they wanted to bring the whole world, you and I, into what is perceived to be a nightmare to us, which is a beautiful dream to them, they have very limited time to do that. Because the stage is set, we're now on a totally new platform of fifth dimensional working, whereas you hold out your hand and the apple appears. It takes a little lag time, again, because we're walking between the worlds and different dimensions, but we're really getting this under play. And that's why we're stepping up with these messages every day. And there's a whole bunch of us doing this now, and because we're in it. It's a network of light. We've been speaking to each other in the ethereal. I have many friends in high places, and we're all in a legion of light. There's so many beings of light and soul groups. I mean, they're endless, billions and billions and billions and billions of souls that work together for your benefit. But again, it's you who have free will as a human. And so that's one of the laws in creation. You can only create matter. You can't destroy it. You can't get in the way of someone's free will, because they have their own center point. They are God. God doesn't get in the way of God. So, wow, how was the humans do then if they didn't know what they were doing? Well, not any longer, because there's a whole bunch of us. It's not just one man coming to the planet and going, hey, listen to this guy's trying to get a whole bunch of people to listen to his message, or her. Generally, it was Jesus or Yeshua, or someone like him, and always waiting for that Superman to come and say, hey, he's got his shit together. He must be doing something right. Let's watch what he does. It didn't work because it didn't have to work. There was no having to work. No, because we're all sovereign individuals waking up one by one, doing it ourselves. We're alone together, but we have support. Lots of support. Lots of support. And don't forget that. Don't forget that in these times. It's getting softer. It's getting easier to move as the tightening and the restriction of the world stage gets really heightened to a degree. It looks like there's going to be a worldwide type of nuclear explosion happen. We just have to tell you now that we're much with you, very much with you in every moment. You're not alone, and you have your own counsel. And so as we continue to do this, take the focus on most moments of the day when you have to the best of the ability, to your best of your ability. You can't always do it, just to the best of your ability. To know where your thoughts are going, because it's going to make you feel a certain way. And this new world, again, your currency, your point of attraction is how you feel at any given moment. And it's safe to express yourself in a vulnerable way, and it's okay. It's safe to now come out and utilize the technology we have available to able to, give the messages that might help maybe one person. I have my 100 people, you might have your 100 people. So this is what we do, where it works. And we let the law of attraction to take it and just move with it and do what it needs to do. So it's not what's happening now. It's what's coming tomorrow. See, it's a paradox. You're like, okay, stay present, breathe, be in this new now moment, stay in the new now moment, get this. It becomes easier because there is no tomorrow. As soon as we go to tomorrow, it's today. And the more you get this, it's a repetitive thing. The mind needs to hear this. Your being needs to hear this repetitive information in a way, wisdom information, knowing, in order to get out of that lock, that mind-made lock of trying to hold control and dominion over your entire being to keep you frozen. Many of us moved into a masculine way of being to protect ourselves, especially women. And so what's happening now is that it's now changing. And we're now moving in a more multidimensional, multi-movement type of way that you'll experience things that you never even thought possible, basically. So we don't settle on what's happening today. We don't have no attention to the world stage over there. It has very little to do with my personal well-being. In fact, it's of the utmost importance that I pay attention more to my feelings and what's happening with me than what's going on over in those places that you really have little to do with. In fact, you can do the most important thing that you can do, and this is why no more, signing petitions or picket lines or activism and all that stuff, trying to fight or battle. No, the softness, when we're doing this within ourselves, within our own personal space, we are assisting our brothers and sisters around the world and offering up that availability as well, and they become softer. It's a trusting and having faith. This realm's not going anywhere. It's expanding. It's just a lot of shaking and quaking, and you now forming a totally new point of attraction for yourself. So you're, gaining control of your own life. You say about fate, destiny, what's always predetermined. It would seem to be this way because, again, we live in a realm of such multidimensional views, visions. So you get less in the mind, you start seeing the multidimensionality of it. It's not just one answer, one way of anything. What's coming tomorrow is beautiful. This is what we see. These are our visions that we share with you. And it's you, too. You go in and you see what we're seeing. But you have to stay quiet. And then, it's a surrender to really want what you want in life. And then you just get distracted throughout the day and get on with something else. And it'll start showing up because you're not focusing your mental brain power on, quick, make it happen, gimme, make it happen now, I want. No, you're stopping that focus, and then you're moving over here, and then it manifests. That's what the leaders of the world stage do. That's why when the pandemic comes up, All of a sudden they fed on that, fed enough off the people, and then they moved over to something else called war. They do it all the time. It's called spin doctoring. And so you could do it within yourself. You can spin doctor yourself out of the vexing of your whole, focusing and trying to manifest something you do not want at all, but you're trying to protect yourself, and that's the only way that you were moving. Being in the heart space, you're not doing that. All of a sudden, being in the heart space, you're going, okay, no force here. I'm going to move over here, and I'm going to change my focus over here, and then boom. So that's a little secret of what the leaders of the world do for the whole peoples. But see, this is a very limited game that is, they have a very limited time to work this out. It's over. It was over back in 2001, and we just have a lag time, and we're just moving through the final days. Again, someone asked me, Muriel, how long is this shift going to last for? Well, as long as the individual needs. And so we don't need to wait for the world to have peace, to get their shit together. No, you do it yourself, because you could leave this place at any time, and you could leave and go, wow, I did it with all those distractions going on, and I manifested. But it wasn't like what I got because I couldn't bring it with me. No, it wasn't the money, it wasn't the partner, it wasn't the house, it wasn't my health. No, because I couldn't bring it with me. It was the process. I get this now. I get this. I get it that I did this alchemy, and I trusted myself, and I had faith of the outcome, and I trusted the law. It's a law. We seem to be very subservient to a lot of laws that are put upon us, like from mankind to man, man-made laws. But for some reason, the law that brings you all the abundance and out of that 3D trap of, structural ways was the ultimate thing to actually abide to. But the leaders, again, the powers to be in this duality dance, we're not looking out for the betterment of the human race. They weren't looking out for the betterment of you and I. Okay, so we knew this. This is an old game. We're not repeating this and sharing this but other than just talking about the purpose of the conversation. We are not going backwards, guys. Okay, so whatever's happening today, remember what you're doing within yourself. You're planting a seed, and then that will grow tomorrow, and then you get to pick the lettuce if it's a lettuce seed tomorrow. You don't just look at the seed and go, oh, it's just a seed, where is my lettuce? It's the same thing with the job, the partner, the health, your new home. Maybe you want to move to a different vicinity around the world, So, and again, another thing, just one more thing here, is that you can't, this whole spiritual community, before we used to sit there and go, we can change the weather. Well, we can change the weather, but there's things that are happening in the world that is just happening. It needs to happen. Coming undone, the magma release of the inner core of the earth, and more volcanic eruptions, more earthquakes, more flooding, the sea levels are rising, more fires, more tsunamis, more hurricanes, all of this, right? It's going to happen. But since the weather is not like, what science tests tell us that it is, it's all part of our consciousness. As the humans, as we all do this thing here, that's why the weather picked up, because it's all coming undone. We're a pivotal role in this realm because we are creator gods here. We just fell asleep and didn't create consciously. And that's the whole point of why Muriel here, I came here to do this, is to speak of consciousness, to move this thing along, to remind the people that it's here. We won. And wording. The games are over. The world's getting softer. We need it because people are going to need to have more humanitarian compassion as the landscape changes. But you can, in your meditation times, go and be the shaman or the shamana that you are, and go visit those different areas around the world and sit there, in your third eye. Sit on the beach. Sit on the beach. Sit on the beach. Go into the waters. Feel the air. What time of day is it? Notice. You're there in consciousness. Your body's not. This is what the shaman's always done. So we're walking around at all times. We don't even know we're in so many different places at once. We have a focus, a finite focus here, because we have to be in the physical body. But we're multidimensional beings. So in meditation time, you can go and visit those places. Oh, the people lost their homes. Maybe all the wildlife over there, the children, and the vulnerable ones that need medical attention and stuff like that. We're not saviors, but just being here, we can expand and freely give away our frequency, because we have surplus. We have surplus of positive vibrations. And the more you speak of the positive affirmations every day, as soon as you wake up, no less than 15 seconds before you get out of bed, today's a good day. Today's a good day. And all of a sudden, after a week's time, you'll find yourself going, wow, it totally changed. I wake up immediately. I didn't have to say it on my mind. Today's a good day. I'm so grateful for my sleeping quarters, my bed, the sheets, everything I have. I'm grateful for my clothes. We've talked about this. Grateful for the water and the food and the loved ones and the compassion that I'm so aware of that I am, that I love me when I'm with you. I'm so grateful that I have this new guidance system and traction point. It changes everything. I've never met a positive person that doesn't have a lot of abundance in their life, even if they're simple. What is $1 million? So what? You can't take it with you. You are the $1 million. Namaste. So it's not what's happening today. It's what's coming. Right. This is what we do. We're master creators. Be present and know that we're creating and it's coming. It's beautiful. So thank you again for being here today, and enjoy the rest of the moments of this beautiful day. If it's evening for you, have a lovely night's sleep. And thank you again for being here in this realm at this time of the greatest change that we've ever, ever, ever faced in any period of history since we took form. Thank you so much. Namaste.